Yes lads, how you all doing? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Now today, I'm going to bring you guys my predicted lineup for the 2020-21 Premier League season. So then, with the new Premier League season now only 3 days away, it's now time for me to make my predicted lineup for the brand new season. The new season is only just around the corner, new hope, new expectations, and it's going to be a very big season for the Foxes under Brendan Rodgers. So with that being said, in today's video I'll be going through my predicted lineup for the up and coming season for the Foxes, from the goalkeeper to the striker. I'll be discussing everything you guys need to know about how Leicester City could line up for the up and coming season. But just before we get into it, make sure a big thumbs up down below on today's video if you guys going to enjoy today's video as I go through my predicted lineup for the brand new season for the Foxes. Mr. Consistency is now back. It's been 2 weeks, but the content is now finally back on the channel. The new Premier League season is here, so go and drop a like if you're going to enjoy today's video. Can we go for 50 likes on today's video? Yes, it is a very big like target, but you know, we're going to smash it. Drop a like if you do enjoy today's video. Also, subscribe and see my face on your screen before on the road to 1,500 subscribers, and there's still a large percentage of you guys who are not subscribed to the channel. I mean, what are you actually doing? You probably got a good reason to haven't uploaded in 2 weeks, but go and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're watching this video right now, go down below, turn that subscribe button great if you haven't already, because that'd be highly appreciated. Also, subscribe to my new group channel, the Box to Box. When I probably don't upload for another 2 weeks, you'll probably find a video on there, so go subscribe to that channel. We're going to upload a range of different football content. I'll leave a link to that channel in the description down below. Turn on my notifications so you never miss any future videos on the channel just like this one. Follow me on all my social medias, they'll be down there. Link to them will be in the description down below. And most importantly, let me know your thoughts on today's video in the comment section down below. And also let me know your thoughts on the lineup. If you want to see any changes, just let me know in the comment section down below. But without further ado, let's get into my predicted lineup for Leicester City for the 2020-21 Premier League season. So, starting off with the formation, I'm going to be going with the 4-1-4-1 formation. Of course, this is the formation we used when we were actually playing quite well at the start of last season. Of course, since football returned after lockdown, we changed the formation. We went to 3 at the back, and it's fair to say it didn't really work at all. So hopefully Brendan Rodgers returns back to this formation, which Leicester performed so well at the start of last season, and I think it really does allow Leicester to perform at the best, and it really does suit the style which Leicester and Brendan Rodgers wants to play. It allows James Maddison to get further forward, and it just works, to be perfectly honest. We saw it last season. We got some huge results playing this formation, and in particular the Southampton result, the 9-0. So I mean, I don't really see the point of going to a 3 at the back. Yes, if you have injuries, you may have to go to the 3 at the back. But for the large part of next season, I want Brendan Rodgers to play this formation, the 4-1-4-1 formation. It's an easy formation to change. Of course, it basically is the 4-3-3, and he can easily change to midfielders. He can allow midfielders to drop a bit deeper, and obviously he can play midfielders with Cam, etc. So it's an easy formation to change into different styles throughout the game and depending on the result. And I think this formation really does suit Leicester. So starting off in goal, I'm going to be going with Kasper Schmeichel. So this is a no-brainer in my opinion. Kasper Schmeichel has been absolutely brilliant recently for Leicester. He was probably Leicester's best player since football returned in lockdown. He's the club captain, and Kasper Schmeichel was definitely pretty much confirmed to be the goalkeeper starting for Leicester in the up-and-coming season. Of course, I think Danny Ward's going to have a large part to play. He's a very good backup keeper, and with Leicester playing in the Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and now the Europa League, Danny Ward is also going to have a big part to play in the season. But in the main games in the Premier League and in the important games, I would like to see Kasper Schmeichel play. He's a player Leicester can really rely on. He's been at the club for so long. He's the club captain. He's a brilliant keeper overall. He's made some cracking saves overall. Kasper Schmeichel, for me, is pretty much confirmed to be the keeper next season for Leicester. So moving into the back four and starting off in the right back position. This right back position is a bit of a strange one. Obviously, the main right back is going to be Ricardo Pereira, but he is still injured somehow. So at the start of the season, it's looking likely that James Justin is going to be the player to fill in at right back, and that is what I would like to see. But when Ricardo Pereira is back, I think Ricardo Pereira has to be the guy to come straight into that right back role. Hopefully Ricky P has still got it. He's a brilliant player. Ricky P has got it all. But at the start of the season, the first couple of games, in my opinion, James Justin should be the man to come in at that right back spot. Of course, we have quite a lot of versatility now with the new signing of Timothy Cascagna. So overall, we have a lot of different options at the right back role. But for the main part of the season, when Ricardo Pereira is back, it has to be Ricardo Pereira at the right back. He's one of Leicester's best players. But overall, it's going to be between Ricardo and Justin. But like I said, for the large part of the season, when Ricky is back from injury, it's going to be Ricardo Pereira at right back. So moving into the first centre-back, then I'm going to be going with Jonny Evans. This is another difficult one as well, because Jonny Evans is injured, suspended. There's a lot of players who are injured at Leicester, which is, you know, not the best going into the new season. But when Johnny Evans is suspension free and injury free, I would like to see him come into that centre back role. But at the start of the season, it's between Wes Morgan and Filip Benkovic, which, you know, isn't great, to be honest. Of course, we are linked with a few centre-backs, one of them being Tarkowski from Burnley and Fofana from St Etienne. But if any of them do come in, obviously they will probably fill in. But at the moment, for the large part of the season, it's going to have to be Johnny Evans. But in the first couple of games with Johnny Evans having that 3-match ban for his stupid red card against Manchester United, and now an injury's picked up in the internationals, which, you know, is very frustrating. It's probably going to be Wes Morgan, in my opinion, or Filip Benkovic. Of course, Wes Morgan's got the experience. Filip Benkovic is a youngster, he's showing good signs of potential, but is he going to get sold? It's a bit of a difficult one with Filip Benkovic. So for the start of the season, it's going to be Wes Morgan, but for the large part of the season, it's going to be Johnny Evans, in my opinion. Moving on to the second centre-back then, this is an absolute no-brainer in my opinion. It is a Turkish brick wall. Çağlar Söyüncü, what a player this man is. Absolutely brilliant last season for the Foxes, and this guy has to start every single game, in my opinion. He's probably one of the first names on the team sheet, to be honest. He's injury free, suspension free, which is a big shock, to be honest. Half our team is injured, but thank God Çağlar Söyüncü is going to be ready for that first game, and I can see him being the main centre back, and I would like him to be the main centre back for the large part of the season. Of course, it's not going to be as easy to come in alongside possibly Wes Morgan, Benkovic, or maybe a new centre back, or obviously alongside Johnny Evans. He's going to be much more comfortable. But overall, Çağlar Söyüncü is the man, and he's going to be the main centre back, in my opinion, for the large part of the season. He's definitely one of the first players on my team sheet. On to the final defender then, onto the left back position. So of course, Ben Chilwell departing Leicester for Chelsea for a fee of £50 million. Leicester's only signing is actually a Ben Chilwell replacement, and it is Atalanta's Timothy Castagne. Came in on a £21 million fee. And this man, in my opinion, is going to be the new left back for Leicester City. He's a very, very versatile player. He can play right back, left mid, right mid. Probably can play centre back. I don't know. This guy can play anywhere. But overall, at the start of the season, I'd like to see him play at the left back role. Of course, with no Ricardo, he's going to have to fill in. Obviously, he's a similar player to James Justin. Very, very versatile. I can see Timothy Castagne being a large part of the future plans at Leicester, especially in the Europa League. So in my opinion, I'd like to see him be the main left back for Leicester. It's going to be interesting to see how Timothy does settle into the Premier League and how he performs, but overall I think he will do fairly well, to be honest. He was involved in a very, very good Champions League run with Atalanta. He's a very, very experienced player, very, very versatile as well, so I think he can slot in pretty easily in that left back role, and especially in the first couple of games, I'd like to see him be the main left back for Leicester. When Ricardo Pereira does return, I think it's going to be between him and James Justin, but overall I would like to see Castagne play. I think James Justin's slightly too young. Obviously, he has got the Premier League experience, but in my opinion, we've bought Timothy Castagne in for £21 million. So, in my opinion, he needs to play, and I hope he is a left back. In my opinion, on my team sheet, he is going to be the left back. So, on to the defensive midfielder. Of course, I'm going to be going with Wilfred Ndidi, probably one of the first names on the team sheet once again for the Foxes. In my opinion, he's going to be very, very important in this season. He's a key part of the Leicester side, and Wilfred Ndidi starts every single day of the week in whatever team he's got. He's just got everything as Wilfred Ndidi. He's a key part in Leicester's side, especially with just breaking up their plays. That player who sits in front of that defence and is a vital part of the Leicester side under Brendan Rodgers. Like I said, he's a brilliant tackler, great interceptor as well, and he's a key part of the Leicester side. And hopefully Wilfred Ndidi can have a very, very good season. If he doesn't, Leicester could struggle. Wilfred Ndidi, like I said, is a very, very key part in the Leicester system, in that defensive role just in front of the defence. And Wilfred Ndidi can be the lots, can be that player to turn things around, get Leicester on the counter attack, play the balls into the likes of James Maddison going forward. And hopefully Wilfred Ndidi can have a good performance this season. But without a doubt, it has to be Wilfred Ndidi, in my opinion. Of course, you have players like Hamza Chowdhury, the Pardis Mendy, can maybe fill in some of the cup games and possibly the Europa League. But for the large part of the season, Wilfred Ndidi is going to be the central defensive midfielder for me. Just ahead of Wilfred Ndidi, they're moving into one of the first centre midfielders. I'm going to be going with Youri Tielemans. Of course, it wasn't the best of seasons for Youri last season. However, in pre-season, in the international break for the Belgian national side for Youri Tielemans, he has looked very, very good, to say the least. And I think Youri Tielemans is going to be a key part of the Leicester side going forward. Of course, you have players with likes of Dennis Pratt, another Belgium international. But overall, I think Youri Tielemans does need to start for Leicester this season. I think this could be the season for Yuri. He's had a full season to settle into the Premier League, and I think this is the season where Tielemans has to kick on, in my opinion. There's going to be a lot of games for Yuri Tielemans, which he does struggle with, to say the least, but with the sentiments we've got with the likes of Dennis Pratt, Napolis, Mendy, Hamza Chowdhury, all in there, we should have enough cover for Yuri Tielemans. So for the large part of the season, Yuri Tielemans is going to be the centre midfielder for me. Alongside Yuri Tielemans, I'm going to be going with James Maddison. Maddison is another player who was injured for Leicester at the moment, but he's very, very close to getting back to full fitness. So it's going to be a matter of games before James Maddison is back in the starting 11 for Leicester. So it looks like the likes of Dennis Pratt is going to come in for James Maddison for the first few games of the season. Despite that, for the large period of the season, James Maddison has to be in that midfield for me. He's a key element of the Leicester side. If James Maddison can play the balls in behind to the likes of Jamie Vardy, Leicester are going to score goals next season. And like I said, if James Maddison performs well, Leicester City will 100% perform well next season. It's going to be a very, very important player for Leicester, and he's probably another player who's probably one of the first names on the team sheet, in my opinion. If James Maddison can play slightly further forward than Tielemans, yes, I said alongside Tielemans, but if Maddison can play in that potential cam role, Tielemans just a little bit behind, and then Diddy, the more said defensive midfielder, that is where James Maddison thrives. If Maddison drops deep like he did at times last season, he just won't impact the game enough. James Maddison needs to be that guy behind Jamie Vardy, he can get the balls in behind, and that is where Leicester City will score goals. So James Maddison, if you're watching this, do not drop deep. Stay behind Jamie Vardy, and things will happen. Things will get created, and Leicester City will score goals. And Jamie Vardy and James Maddison will be absolutely firing on all cylinders next season. And hopefully James Maddison can have a good season, because if he does, Leicester are going to have a good season, in my opinion. On to the left-sided midfielder and the left winger, I'm going to be going with Harvey Barnes in my predicted lineup for the 20 to 21 Premier League season. I think Harvey Barnes is Leicester's best winger, which isn't too difficult considering all of our wingers are pretty poor, to say the least, and Leicester are still yet to sign a winger, so Harvey Barnes is definitely going to be in this team, in my opinion. And of course, last season he came on leaps and bounds, in my opinion, from the season before that. The only thing Harvey Barnes is lacking is his finishing. His end product just doesn't have it. If he can improve on that, he'll be a fantastic winger for Leicester next season. He'll be a big part of Leicester going forward. But hopefully Harvey Barnes can have another good season for the Foxes under Brendan Rodgers. We need Harvey to be direct. He needs to run at people, take people on, and make things happen. And hopefully Harvey can bring that. And if he can bring that, he's going to be a big part of the Leicester team going forward next season. So in my opinion, Harvey Barnes has to start in the left wing role / left mid, and he's definitely going to be in my team for next season. On to the right side of midfield then. So this is a very, very controversial one, I do believe, but I'm going to be going with David Brooks. Yes, he has not signed for Leicester, but it's looking highly, highly likely that David Brooks from Bournemouth is going to be making the move to the King Power Stadium this summer. Of course, if that doesn't happen, which it potentially could happen, it's probably going to be at Jose Perez, which, yes, I do not want to see Jose Perez play it right, but I have to show a bit of realism in this predicted lineup, and it's probably going to be Jose Perez. It's Jose Perez or probably Demarai Gray and Marco O'Brien. So yeah, it's going to be a Jose Perez, but if Leicester do sign a winger, that winger is going to be playing that right midfield role, in that right wing role, in my opinion. And that player, hopefully, can be David Brooks. It's been heavily reported that Leicester are very, very keen on signing the Bournemouth player this season. So hopefully David Brooks can come to the King Power Stadium. He offers a lot of threat going forward. He's a bit of a similar player to Harvey Barnes, but his end product is slightly better. He's a young talent, he's English, he will definitely fit into the Leicester side. So hopefully David Brooks can join Leicester this season. If he doesn't, we're going to be stuck with Jose Perez, who isn't really a winger playing out wide. But overall, it's a difficult one. Is the right wing role? Could we see Ricardo Pereira go further forward? Potentially, but overall, I like to see him playing the right back role. But if Leicester do sign a winger, that winger is going to be a right winger, and he's going to slot straight into my team in the right wing role. Hopefully that player can be David Brooks. Last but not least, up front, it has to be Jamie Vardy, in my opinion. This is an absolute no-brainer, in my opinion. The top scorer, the Golden Boot winner in the Premier League last season, Jamie Vardy has to start the season up front, in my opinion. Yes, Jamie Vardy is getting slightly older, and it's going to be interesting to see how much games Jamie Vardy does get. It looks like Kelechi Iheanacho is going to also play a large part, but for the large part of the season in the main games, Jamie Vardy is definitely one of the first names on this team sheet in my predicted lineup for the new season, and it's simple as Jamie Vardy to start up front next season for the Foxes. So the boys and girls, that is it for today's video. In today's video, I went through my predicted lineup for the brand new Premier League season for the Foxes. The new Premier League season is just around the corner. A lot of content is going to be coming to your screens just like this. But if you guys did go on to enjoy today's video, make sure you let me know by dropping a like, subscribe to the channel as well. Football is nearly back, people. The new season is nearly here. The expectation is here, the hope is here, and can Leicester perform well next season? We'll find out. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Like I said, this has been my predicted lineup for the new up-and-coming season for the Foxes. I'm a SPORTSA, and I'll see you guys very, very soon in my next video. Peace, guys.